What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. So, today's episode is a part of a new series that we will be doing at the end of every month called Ask Berri. And this is where I will answer one of the questions that I get a lot. And this week's question is going to be all about how I got started in this industry and what my story is. You would be shocked at the amount of people who have been like, why are you so obsessed with periods? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm terrible at telling my own story. But then number two, the amount of people who want to also work in the women's health space. So rather than just kind of telling the same story, retyping it out. I want to say it once, get it out of my system, and then I'm going to redirect everybody to this podcast episode. But before I do that, I do want to actually remind you of a few things. So, first and foremost, if you have not gotten your hands on the meal plan or the bundle yet, what are you doing? You literally have 24 hours left, and that's it. Everything OIF as you know it is going to kind of vanish, at least product wise, is going to vanish until October when the book is released. So, again, if you have been wanting to learn from me on demand and you've been wanting to have me kind of in your back pocket answering questions as a point of reference, head to the show notes and either purchase the optimal bundle, which I think is the best value because you're getting 2 master classes and the meal plan, or you can purchase the meal plan a la carte. You know how I feel about the programs I've created, which is they provide immense amounts of value. I am talking about the stuff that nobody else is talking about. I'm teaching you things that they should have taught you. And when I say they, things that your teachers maybe should have taught you when you were younger, things I wish my mom and my grandma would have known and taught me. I'm teaching you those things and then some because I'm bringing in the elements of psychology and neuroscience as well as the endocrine system and how they're all interconnected. So again, head to the show notes. Second, I want to remind you I'm going to be on a bit of a social media hiatus. I'm definitely stepping away from Instagram for the entire month of July if you're listening to this real time. There's a chance you might see me on TikTok, but time will tell. I'm not sure, but just so you know, I'm away for the entire month of July. And lastly, I actually want to share with you something I'm not sure I've shared before, which is the fact that I'm actually speaking at a conference in August. So on August 6th, my friend Madison is hosting the Fearless Chase conference, and I will be a part of the self-care panel talking about probably cycle syncing, but also how to really lean into and listen to your body and continue to give yourself grace. So if you are in Austin or you want to travel to Austin and you want to hear myself as well as phenomenal other speakers talk at this conference and, just pursue our dreams fearlessly, make sure you head to the show notes. I'll leave my discount code down there for you so you can save $50. And with that being said, let's roll into it. Hey, so before we actually hop into the anticipated podcast episode for this week and the topic, I want to address recent events and specifically what has happened with Roe v. Wade being overturned. So first, let me just say, I understand that there is an uproar of emotions from so many people, right? From both the left and the right, from pro-choice and pro-life, from Democrat to Republican. It's all been really emotional, okay? However, I have chosen to lean into logic rather than emotion as I navigate this space and time as an individual, but also as a professional. And, when I look beyond what the decision is, I think what I hear a lot of people saying is, what now? What does this mean? What are my options? So I actually just want to run through 6 things that are currently happening that you need to be really aware of. And I'll also drop one resource that I created for you all down below. And then from there, we will actually get into the main topic. So that being said, what does this actually mean? So to clarify, the ruling doesn't criminalize abortion on the federal level, but it does revert control back to the state. Number two, it's really important to understand rhetoric and specifically the term fetal viability because that keeps coming up in a lot of different legislation, okay? So, fetal viability is the ability of a fetus to live outside of the uterus. The Supreme Court and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists consider a fetus to be viable starting at 24 to 28 weeks, though there's not actually a very hard line. A fetus at any stage that can't live independently is considered non viable. Okay. Point number three, most states restrict or ban abortion after fetal viability, with some exceptions, which would be fatal fetal anomalies. So they're like 1 in a million, right? Number four, almost all state laws banning abortion makes exceptions for life-threatening pregnancies or for medical emergencies. And I think that's really important to know. Number five, there's a few states that actually have trigger laws that will automatically ban abortion in the first and second trimester. So Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah, and Wyoming are among those states. And then number six, most abortion laws address providers and not individuals seeking abortions as well. Now, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and link some information for you below so you can find out more about the abortion laws in your state. Now, before, we roll into this episode, I want to be very, very clear. My role is always to educate, equip, and empower you with as much tools, knowledge, and resources to make informed and educated decisions about your body. Okay? And to be very clear, I do not care where you personally stand. I am doing what I was put here to do. My gift from God is to educate, equip, and empower people with tools, knowledge, and resources to heal and help themselves. And I do believe that just knowing what the legislation and the ruling is and how it applies to people is really, really important. Now, with that said, let's roll into today's actual episode. Okay, so I don't know if I want to start with, my personal story or how I got into this industry, but I suppose that the best place to start is at the bottom. I started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, not a whole team winning. Okay, anyways, so I actually started my health and wellness journey really in 2016. Yeah. So I graduated from college in 2016 and I went straight into working in litigation in corporate America. And before I got into corporate America, my entire life, I pretty much lived very, very healthy. There had definitely been moments in my life where I could say I followed the breadcrumbs and knew that I would always be in the health and wellness space. I just didn't know what it was going to look like, but I digress. So in December of 2016, I went in to see my naturopath and she did some labs on me. And, the result of that conversation was you need to choose living a healthy and long life or a short and successful life. And I kind of thought that was one, very rude, but at the same time, I have very open communication with my naturopath. And so I was like, all right, we got to figure something out. So what she basically told me is that I needed to prioritize living a holistic lifestyle. And honestly, in an attempt to live holistically, I did what most people do. I took the supplements, I changed my diet, I did the exercising. I even went to bed early, y'all. Okay, I didn't even go out sometimes. And I'm from Michigan, so in the summertime, this happened in December, but in the summer, we were up all types of hours out on the lake, boating and different things like that. So my lifestyle had really caught up with me. But I had one major issue with this whole trying to live holistically. It seemed like living holistically took way too much time away from me pursuing my dreams. Okay. I knew I wanted to, not only be the corporate woman, but I also wanted to have this creative project on the side, which was me actually becoming a health coach just off the whim because I had heard about it. And so I was like, I want to pursue that dream, but also this one. But I always felt like this healthy lifestyle thing was really limiting because it was so time consuming. Okay. Not to mention, I didn't understand a lot of different things. I didn't understand that the symptoms I had been experiencing, such as fatigue and brain fog and lack of mental clarity, my period pain, types of hormonal acne, and like this constant anxiety were a part of a bigger issue. I did not realize at the time I was experiencing these things that I was dealing with burnout, and I didn't realize it was actually called HPA axis dysregulation. That is like the politically, or better yet, that is the biological and scientific name of burnout, HPA axis dysregulation, okay? So, as I'm talking to this naturopath and listening to her, I was just kind of feeling a bit defeated. And the reason I was feeling defeated was because I felt like, as a young and ambitious 22, turning 23-year-old, okay, I ain't have time for nothing to be stopping me. And I also didn't want to hear someone say, choose between a long, healthy life or a short, successful one. Like, what kind of trash is that, right? Anyways, so in my own time of like healing and recovering, I knew that I wanted to fix my body because I felt it was really broken. But I also wanted to have time freedom, and I wanted healthy to be simple. Why did I want these things? So I could pursue my dreams. Like, nothing is more annoying than not being able to show up as your best self to pursue whatever dream you have, right? So for me, I just was always looking for different solutions. So I tried plant-based living. I love forks over knives. I looked into the medical medium protocols, all these different things. But I actually did not like any of them. They were too much. And then I came across cycle syncing. Now, the way I came across cycle syncing was actually through interviewing someone for my podcast. And I immediately ordered this book that was recommended to me. Okay, and implemented it. It was like I got the book on a Wednesday and implemented it Thursday morning. There was no dilly-dallying. Like, I read through this book, and the book was Woman Code, and it was my holy grail. Why was I able to utilize cycle syncing? Why did it work for me so much? It was simple, strategic, and scientifically backed, meaning it was based in biology. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I felt like anytime I was dealing with, like, let's say like a health challenge or a fitness challenge, it would work for the people who created it, but it never worked for me. And I could not figure out why. Then, after learning about cycle syncing and implementing it, I realized that the menstrual cycle was the blueprint and really the missing piece for me to not only be able to heal my body and have time freedom, but also be healthy and pursue my dreams. I literally looked at the menstrual cycle as this like blueprint for optimizing my life. So, after 6 years, right, of pursuing a cyclical life and really recovering from burnout, I've single handedly watched cycle syncing not only heal my body, but completely change the way that I show up for my loved ones and in my career. I seriously went from being very burnt out to just being productive, okay? Now, I'm just gonna kind of run through a few things that have happened since I've started practicing cycle syncing. So first and foremost, I own two businesses. One business is Optimize Your Flow, which is an online community and education platform that really is a modern woman's guide to living in sync with our cycle. I mean, you're listening to this podcast, right? So this is a product of Optimize Your Flow. While, it doesn't always feel like it has an ROI, I know in the long run it definitely does. And Optimize Your Flow is its own business. Number two, I am, by profession, a board certified integrative health practitioner, so I also have my own private practice. Now, I could argue and say that number three, like the third business, is like me being an influencer, but I kind of throw the influencer stuff under my practitioner umbrella for sake of simplicity, right? Now, not only has cycle syncing led to me having two businesses that I literally never want to escape from, there's a third on the way coming out in 2024. If you know, you know. But it's also led to me being a go to expert for top podcasts and publications, right? So I've been on the Gold Digger podcast, Balanced Black Girl, She by Jordan Lee Dooley. I've been featured in Shape Magazine, Thrive Global, and so many other large publications and platforms. But it's also led to me being on national television, even teaching medical doctors that periods are normal and pain shouldn't be. Like, I can't even believe that I've done that just through the process of like healing and helping myself, right? But it's really most importantly led to me rebuilding this trust with my body and making an impact that's so much greater than me. Cycle syncing alone has really been about the masses, not just Berri. It's been about the masses from the jump. It's a mission to really teach the modern woman how to heal and help herself through cyclical living so that you're able to educate, equip, and empower generations that will be birthed through you. That's what cycle syncing has done for me. And I know that got super deep real quick, but when you ask me about my personal story, it stems from exploring my own health and healing and allowing that explorative process to lead to everyone else. Now, listen, I'm not trying to say that if you practice cycle syncing, you're going to have this like spiritual experience like I have. But what it will probably lead to is you feeling better in your body and trusting yourself more. It'll also probably lead to you showing up better for those people in your life, personally and professionally. And that's what it's all about. This practice, this passion I have is purpose filled to help generations to come. Now, let me get off that soapbox. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. And, honestly, I just wanted to share that because this is something that I don't talk about a lot, but also it's one of the things that I think really makes my ability to teach you and serve you so different. It's the heart of the matter. When people ask me, like, why do you do what you do or what makes you so different? I'm like, yeah, I can speak to my approach. Yeah, I can say, oh, I've accomplished these things, or people talk about me as an expert. I could say all of those, but really what it comes down to is the heart and truly believing in the depths of my soul that when you optimize your flow, you can optimize your life. And I believe that every modern woman deserves to have a pain free period, to know how to utilize her biology to her advantage, and then some. So, that's a little bit about me, a little bit about my story, and also why I do what I do, how it's a little bit different. And with that being said, I would love to invite you one last time on the podcast to join the Optimal Bundle. Get your hands on the 2 signature masterclasses that I have taught. Get your gorgeous hands on the ebook nutrition plan that I created, because the last day you'll be able to purchase is June 30th if you are listening to this in real time. And in the event that you're not listening to this in real time and it is after June 30th, 2022, please charge it to my head and not my heart. But I know I'm being called to serve on another level in a deeper way. So, it is what it is. But that being said, I'm sending you big love and optimal flowy vibes, and I'll talk to you soon.